Thanks for joining me again today. It's my pleasure to welcome Corey Smedley to lead the Montgomery County Fire and Rescue Services as its next chief. Once he's sworn in on Monday, he'll be the county's first black fire chief. Corey began his fire career in Prince George's County as a firefighter and paramedic before taking on special roles like being the lead on public safety at the Commanders games and rising to deputy chief level. In 2019, he became the fire chief in Alexandria. And this past January, he returned to Prince George's County Fire and EMS service before accepting the chief's role here. His breadth of experience was key here. He met all our criteria. He worked in a union environment in a combined service of volunteers and professionals in a public safety system that is adapting to the community's needs. I want to thank the County Council for confirming his nomination this week, and I'm confident Corey's wealth of experience and dedication to public safety will greatly benefit our community. I look forward to working together. Last week, an electrical fire at a women's shelter in the county forced the evacuation of around 36 residents. No one was injured in the fire, but the fire forced us to relocate that shelter and 16 staff members to a temporary shelter without a working kitchen. This creates a new set of problems for women struggling with homelessness. Despite the July 4th holiday, members of our Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management coordinated with our Health and Human Services team to quickly find a temporary shelter. There was a lot of praise and teamwork on display here. I also want to commend Montgomery County Fire and Rescue crews, Interfaith Work staff, the American Red Cross, Maryland Medical Reserve Corps, and the Department of Transportation for working to prepare a safe and welcoming place for the women to be sheltered after the fire. They all gave up their holiday and worked quickly to help these women handle this disruption. These women are still in need of more help. Interfaith Works is seeking help from the community, feeding women housed at the shelter because they don't have a kitchen there. That could include home-cooked meals from organizations with the capacity to feed large groups or donations from restaurants. If you're interested in helping us, please give us a call at 240-468-6386 or visit iworksmc.org. In case you hadn't noticed it, the heat's on. The heat's been unrelenting since the 4th of July. I actually think it's been unrelenting longer than that. Even at night, it rarely cools down enough to call it cool outside. Montgomery County has been under an extreme heat alert for much of July so far, for at least 5 hours and up to 9 hours on some days. We have been asking people to be careful because of our heat indices. They have already soared past 95 degrees over the past week, and sometimes it's felt like 105 degrees or more. On Tuesday, an excessive heat warning was issued by the National Weather Service. The county also elevated its warning to a heat emergency alert. When temperatures are this dangerous, we bring together our departments to determine what actions we can put in place to help keep people safe. I encourage everyone in need of relief from the heat to use our libraries, senior centers, and rec centers as shelters. They can provide a cool break from the punishing heat. The centers are open during regular operating hours. It's also good to remind everyone that outdoor pools may reach capacity as more people try to escape the heat, so plan accordingly. HHS's Aging and Disability Service has a limited number of free desktop fans for the county's older adults, individuals with disabilities, and residents in need. Call the Aging and Disability Resources Unit at 240-777-3000 to make arrangements to pick up the fans in Rockville. If you must be out during the heat of the day, drink plenty of water, limit your time outside, and never leave kids or pets in cars because vehicles can heat up extremely quickly and can reach very high temperatures, unsafe and in fact deadly temperatures. Stay current with signs of heat illness. Look for nausea, excessive sweating, or lightheadedness, which could be a sign of heat exhaustion or heat stroke. We also pass through messaging through our Department of Permitting Services focused on worker safety and reminding employers to protect workers as much as possible from the heat. Anyone concerned about the well-being of someone living outside can call the 24-hour hotline at 240-907-2688. And outreach partners will attempt to locate the individual and offer resources and support. The science is pretty clear on this. Our planet is warming at an unprecedented rate, and this is leading to more frequent and severe heat waves. It can pose significant health risks, especially to our most vulnerable populations like the elderly, children, and anyone with pre-existing health conditions. Extreme heat exacerbates air pollution, which can aggravate respiratory diseases and other health problems. So please take the danger seriously and seek help if you need it. For more hot weather tips for humans and pets, or to learn more about heat warnings, visit montgomerycountymd.gov/heat. Ever since 2020, we've warned the public to be ready for a summer wave of COVID-19. The recipe is pretty simple. More people are traveling, interacting with people than they normally interact with, and that leads to a rise in cases. This year, we've seen an increase in cases over the last few weeks. Our levels of COVID-19 in Montgomery County, however, do pale in comparison to past levels. Nor have we seen the same kind of impact on our hospitals and healthcare system that the past summer waves have brought. The elevated risk of contracting COVID is still something to be prepared for. That could be as simple as washing your hands frequently and staying home if you're sick. Home test kits for COVID-19 are no longer widely available for free. They can be bought at most pharmacies when needed. Montgomery County has continued to make COVID-19 test kits available mostly at our libraries. This month, resupplies of test kits will end. The MCPL library website has a link that you can check to see if your library still has some available. Although I can tell you they've given away their last kits at the Gaithersburg and Kensington Park branches. I want to thank the staffs of our libraries and the Department of General Services for their work in being a resource for the community when it comes to supplying kits and face masks for several years. We have an update on a topic that has concerned many people in the county for the last month. Large house parties have gotten the attention of state lawmakers, neighbors, and public safety leaders in the county. I'm happy to share that through our efforts, we have thwarted a couple of these big parties over the last week. We know that our efforts forced the organizers to relocate the planned parties out of the county, and we were able to alert the county that was going to be the ultimate destination, that if this problem was coming to them. We've identified some of the houses that have been used for multiple parties and are working across departments to respond quickly to any illegal activities that occur during these parties. That includes, but is not limited to, noise violations, capacity issues, parking hazards, and alcohol laws. We know these parties are skirting laws by charging for things like alcohol and food without drawing the proper permits. These safeguards are in place to ensure the safety of the public, and without these permits, these parties could be dangerous to partygoers and to people living nearby. Teams are ready to respond if parties that are off our radar pop up. It is important to understand that most of these violations created by parties, at least at this point, are civil infractions that may warrant a ticket but not an arrest. It is not a police officer's job to break up parties if no criminal activity is observed or witnessed. Those issued tickets will get their day in court, and repeated tickets could lead to criminal charges. We are looking at this very closely, and I just want to assure people there's proposed legislation that would legalize parties. I'm not going to support that legislation, just for the simple reason that it's an enormous draw on resources. If there is a large crowd and the county has to deploy sufficient police to deal with a crowd that size, it really creates shortages in the districts where their officers are supposed to be patrolling. So this is something we can't afford to police. We don't have the manpower to police, and I will oppose any legislation that makes this the norm. It's just not a good way to raise money. And I appreciate people wanting to make money, but this is not the way to do it. I hope you've been able to watch my gardening videos. We've produced 2 over the past year, and they give me a chance to show everyone one of my favorite ways to relax and eat healthy. One of the reasons behind the new resident and community food gardening grant program is to use our resources to help more people eat healthy. The money will be used to expand local food production, access to small gardening and small-scale farming, feeding more than 1,800 residents. Congratulations to winners of these funds like AfroThrive Community Food Forest, Collective and Community Health, and Empowerment through Education and Research. Groups like the Islamic Center of Maryland and Shepherd's Table have also put forth unique proposals to help feed more hungry county residents. The Charles Coiner Center for Urban Farming will expand its community-based education farm in Wheaton, while the People's Community Baptist Church will aim to get more youth involved in gardening from the Black community. Our commitment to local food production and access is about more than just growing food. It's about building a resilient community, improving public health, and fostering a deeper connection to our environment. These grants support thousands of residents who have experienced high barriers to accessing nutritious, culturally relevant food. By supporting these innovative projects, we're empowering residents to take control of their food sources and contribute to a sustainable future for Montgomery County. So that's a wrap for today. It looks like it's going to be hot for the coming week, so be prepared. I hope you all have a great week despite that, and I'll be back again next week.